This is the 2023 Honda CR-V. This is the sport trim level that we're going to be taking a look at today. I borrowed this lunar silver with black interior model from my friends at Holmes Honda here in Shreveport, Louisiana. And we're going to see if this is the ultimate hybrid crossover SUV. We're going to take a look at the changes for 2023. I'll give you all the cargo numbers and all that good stuff as we walk our way around and talk about what kind of changes you can find. And speaking of changes, what about size? Is it a lot bigger than what we saw in the past with the previous generation of the CR-V? The wheelbase, which is measured from the center of one tire to the center of the other tire. So if you're curious about exactly what wheelbase is, that's how it's measured. So that increases by 1.6 inches. The overall length from bumper to bumper is going to increase by 2.7 inches and the width by a total of 0.4 inches. So not a whole lot going on there in the respect of a lot wider and really overall length and wheelbase, even though they haven't changed a lot. I'll tell you what, with that and the changes to the suspension, this model rides better than the previous generation. Not that it was bad. The previous generation was not a real rough riding vehicle, but this one is definitely improved. And something else you'll see that has changed here as the engine comes to life to charge the battery. You have the struts right here, these hydraulic struts to help raise the hood and keep it up. You don't have to look around for that manual prop rod anymore. Props to Honda for that. Let's talk a little bit about what you'll find here on the exterior. This being the sport trim level, well, it's going to look a little bit more sporty. You're going to have the very nice looking gloss black front grille. You're going to have the LED headlights and LED taillights on the rear of the vehicle. As we work our way back to show you the taillights, yes, you do have the turn signal indicator built into the side view mirror here. They are gloss black. If you like gloss black, there's a good bit here, including those 18-inch wheels. By the way, those are 235/60, so 235 on the width, 60 on the sidewall size. The sidewall is actually really a good size here. It's not too big and it's not too small. The size of the sidewall is going to contribute to either having a good ride quality or a not so good ride quality. And a nice look back here, even though some people might say, well, those don't look any different than the previous generation, they actually do. I think I have a picture of a side-by-side between a 22 and a 23 to compare the two. You can see a difference in that case, but you're going to have a very nice look overall, that's for sure. And then let's take a quick look here at the remote for 2023. It does have remote start. You can obviously open the rear lift gate right there. It's not power, it's manual here. So this is a base, but so you can see what you get with the base. You're going to have the roof rails up there and then the body color shark fin antenna up there. Should that be gloss black? Tell me what you think down in the comments. And then I often refer to this as a rear roof spoiler on the Monroney label, or the window sticker as a lot of people call it. Here it's actually called a rear tailgate spoiler. As we were walking around earlier, some of you keen-eyed observers may have noticed that yes, the side view mirrors have been redesigned, so they didn't just pass over from the previous generation, and some things are very easy to see here. The more squared off front end from the A-pillar forward, that's a big design change from 2022 to 2023, as it basically is the whole vehicle, but some maybe a little bit more so than others. And you will find active air curtains right here. That's going to allow air to pass through the fender, the front end here, and help to improve the aerodynamics of the vehicle basically. Now let's see if I can do this one-handed. I'm going to try and open this and show you what's under the hood. There we go. I never could have done that with the previous generation because I'd still have to prop it up somehow or just hold it up with my hand. But here's what we have. Obviously, a hybrid powertrain. It is paired with a 2-liter 4-cylinder. It makes 190 horsepower and 179 pounds-feet of torque. It is mated to a very well-behaved CVT. So that continuously variable transmission, well, is not what you might expect. It is front-wheel drive, and a lot of you might say, I thought it was all-wheel drive. Well, let me just show you real quick on the sticker. I hope you can see this right here. There it is, 2-wheel drive. That means front-wheel drive. And the all-important MPGs, 43 city, 36 out on the highway, 40 combined, and you should use a great 2.5 gallons of gas for every 100 miles you drive. Here is your capless fuel fill. Now, one thing I do want to show you here real quick, you might have noticed that I was just able to just walk up and open that. And you might say, well, I'm not so comfortable with that. So we'll lock the vehicle. Guess what that means? It's locked. So you do have the locking gas door right there. That makes a big difference and should bring some peace of mind. And overall, adding to the sporty flair, we're going to have a lot of trim. It's going to be the matte black, which is good because that takes a lot better beating out on the road. It doesn't show damage the same way that it would if it was gloss black. Going to work its way down here onto the lower portion of the door sill. You do have those gloss black 19-inch wheels. We took a look at those earlier, but let's talk a little bit about cargo capacity. You do have the ability to tow up to 1,000 pounds. As a car guy, you know, I know a lot of people aren't going to think about this. I would like to see this rear window wiper concealed up here inside of the rear roof spoiler, or the tailgate spoiler as Honda calls it. Now here, you don't have a power or hands-free tailgate. Like I said, this is a base model. When it comes to cargo capacity, keep in mind, a cubic foot is the size of a basketball. So you could fit 39.3 basketballs up to 76.5 basketballs back here, or cubic feet, if that's a little challenging for you. You're going to have obviously the nice lighting back here, and there is lighting available that you can buy that actually is from Honda that goes right in this area right here to help light things up even more. That's not on this particular model, but it is an available option. The CR-V matte back here, kind of a cargo tray of sorts, but it'll also help protect the floor. Now, this being the hybrid model, you're not going to have that 3-position floor that helps you to maximize cargo capacity beyond what we have here. You do have the hangers right here on each side for the lady's purse or grocery bags or whatever. Now, if you want to lower these rear seats, you'll notice I have that one folded flat down there, which these are cloth, by the way. Well, you just grab a hold of that release right there and they fold flat. And something else that I wanted to show here that's pretty nice, look at that. It actually reclines really well so rear seat passengers can enjoy that feature. And something else that's going to be part of this sport trim level is you're going to notice the stitching, kind of an orange of sorts in the light. You can see it right there, kind of like what we would see with the Trail Sport of some of the other vehicles that Honda has available. If you like that, well, that's a good thing, gives it a little bit of a sporty flair. We're also going to have the dual air conditioning vents back here, as you can see, and then connectivity, obviously 2 sources for USB. There really should be 3 back here, in my opinion, just because you have the obvious seating for 3 back here, but you could buy an adapter that would fix that for your rear seat passengers, or let them buy it for themselves. That saves you money, doesn't it? And the rear seat pocket right here, only on one side. Not sure why it's not on both sides. And there is the size of our door bin. So you could put a large bottle in there, plus some snacks and whatever, whoever's sitting back here. Soft touch materials right here. As far as the armrest goes, that's going to be comfortable. And then something that I know a lot of people don't know about. Some people say, well, the child safety locks have always been on the rear doors. But here's the thing. Normally, you don't activate them on the rear doors. In this case, you do. You can see the down arrow pointing at the lock right there. So now, the child safety lock on the driver's side of the vehicle, on the left side here, is active. Now it's turned off. Obviously, you do the same thing over there on the right side as well. If you ever want to hop into the back seat of your brand new CR-V Sport and check things out, make sure at least one of these on either side, either door, is in that up position so you don't accidentally lock yourself in. And depending on what kind of shape you're in, it might be easy and it might be not so easy to crawl through that pass-through to get to the front seat so you can get out again. And in case you were wondering and thinking maybe I forgot, well, I didn't really. Yes, there is a fold-down armrest. And I like the design of this armrest. Let me show you why I like it. The cup holders being in the center as they are right here instead of in the front makes a big difference because, well, I can still put my arm on here and so can your rear seat passengers when there are 2 cups in those cup holders. And tell me down in the comments section, you do have a conventional size sunroof. Would you rather have seen a panoramic instead of the conventional size? All right, if you're somebody who is a door bin snob and you want the largest door bin possible, you better call Shotgun because you have a larger door bin here. Nice place for a bottle or a large cup back here and plenty of space for snacks in the front. more of that orange contrast stitching, comfortable armrest, and some people might press down on that and say, that can't be comfortable. When you put your arm up there, it feels just fine. And then we're going to have a heated but manually adjustable passenger seat. Driver and passenger seats both heated. Driver's side is fully power adjustable, in case you were curious. This is a fully adjustable seat, but it's all manual. And just a quick look here. The same thing we saw that debuted with the 2022 Civic as far as the overall design here, not only with the dash here, with the air conditioning vents and that honeycomb look all the way across, but also with the available infotainment screens that you have. There are 2 available. And then we're going to have the gloveless glove box. There's never glove box or gloves in the glove boxes. You do have the wheel lock key that is inside right there if you ever need that to put on a spare tire. And then looking here, we don't have wireless charging on this particular trim level, but you do have a couple of different options for for USB. Here's the 12 volt. Let's not get ahead of ourselves now. And then obviously something that I think a lot of people are going to like. The location of the shifter has changed from being up in this area. Also, you have a better angle with the screen, but you also have the conventional style shifter, no push button right there. That'll make a lot of you happy, I know. You do have some push button features here for hill descent or hill start assist, the power parking brake and brake hold, and then your cup holders and the multitasking lid for not only the console but an armrest as well. And then inside, well, quite a bit of space down in there. It may not look like it. It's kind of hard to tell because it's a little dark here, but that is there. And you do have Honda Sensing, which is going to be lane keeping assist, blind spot monitoring, adaptive cruise control, all of that's there. Even traffic jam assist. That works with lane keeping assist below 45 miles an hour to help you to stay in your lane. It controls steering, everything that you would expect with lane keeping assist, but that is all there. It's a very convenient feature, especially if you live in a really large city where you deal with a lot of traffic jams. And as we take a look at the driver's side door, obviously you're going to have your heated power folding side view mirrors that are adjustable right here. Your power locks, you can lock the windows and control the windows from here. And obviously there's no child safety lock activation here because I already showed you where that is, the CRV logo right here. And if you wanted to do a burnout with your CRV front wheel drive, you can turn traction control off. We're not going to do that today, but you could if you wanted to. And then we're going to reach up here and hit our push button start. So there is the nice digital instrument cluster. You've got quite a bit going on there. You can see who's wearing their seatbelt and who isn't. And so that makes it easy. We can also see what's going on with the vehicle as far as the charge capacity goes, if we can drive in the hybrid mode or not. Econ mode obviously is engaged right there. And if you want to change driving modes, that's what this is for. As you can see, drive mode. So we're just going to go through those real fast. You've got normal, you've got econ, you got snow, and that's all you have here. You'd think you'd have a sport mode, right, with the CRV Sport, but you don't. Not a big deal necessarily, but everything you expect to see here. Controls for your headlights and control right here. This is called the turn signal lever, if you've always wondered. Did you see those blinking lights I showed you on the vehicle earlier? Well, that's how I turned them on. Actually, I turned them on with the hazard light button, but here's the thing. You can turn that to the right side by pushing it up or down to the left. That means you're letting people around you know what your intentions are when you're driving. I know that's a crazy thing to do. I promise it's not going to give you a heart attack. Don't worry about it. You can handle it. And I can't say anything sarcastic about what we have here, but this is the control for the front and rear window wipers. And then you can control your regenerative braking with what appear to be shifter paddles, but that's not what they are. And then the 7-inch touchscreen. So you got quite a bit here. Now, it does have Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. That's wireless to use, but to connect, you're going to have to use a USB cable. That's the case here, at least on this particular trim level. Just so you know, obviously you can go through and change a lot of different settings for a lot of different features. You can see you have the rear camera setting right there. Let's go into reverse. You can hear that tone out there. I hope you can hear that. That lets people know to see what's going on around them, that you're moving. And then you have the 3 different views here. And I like how quick that responds. It used to not be that way at the previous generation of these screens. So now that 3 different view comes up very quickly. I like that. That's a good thing. You're also going to have, in fact, I probably need to turn that down even though it is rather chilly today. You've got the 3 settings for the heated seats. Remember I told you have driver and passenger heated seats. Turn that air down a little bit too. Dual zone climate control, you can sync those together if you wish to. Everything here pretty easy to figure out. You're also going to have the control up here for that power sunroof up there. Some call it a moonroof. Some don't like that terminology. Not sure where you fall on that, but you can tilt it open or slide it open. You also have no conversation mirror here. Would you like to have a conversation mirror? Tell me about that. But a sunglass holder, that's a good thing, a plus, that's for sure. But I talked about how the ride quality has improved. What is it like to drive this hybrid version of the CR-V? Well, let's hop out on the road and I'll answer that question for you. Okay, as we get out on the road, we're in EV mode, so I like that. We'll let you hear it for just a second. The advantage of having the full charge, plus I'm in econ mode, so we're going to get the best gas mileage possible, I guess, in this case. Wouldn't mind having one of these CR-Vs for maybe 24 hours just to see what kind of MPGs I could pull off. We do a lot of driving during that time. Maybe we'll see what we can do with that down the road. The leather-wrapped steering wheel is very comfortable here. This is a very nice vehicle to drive. It handles great. It turns great. It's got a great tight turning radius. Everything is good here. Overall, a very enjoyable vehicle to drive, and the ride quality is wonderful. It wasn't bad to begin with, but at the same time, it wasn't the smoothest you would ever experience necessarily. Oh boy, look at this. We have a green light and dummy in the truck right here decides to turn right in front of me. Good job. Good thing I know how to drive because he sure doesn't. Now, back to your regularly scheduled program. If anybody knows who that truck driver is, man, let him know. Let his boss know. It's amazing people don't think about in this day and age that you're probably going to be on video if you're a bad driver. So I'm going to let you listen. We're on kind of a rough road here and let you get an idea of what the road noise is like. All right, we'll move back over into the not so smooth right-hand lane. Really can't tell much of a difference. And I know there's going to be people out there that are going to say, oh, the only way you can know is to have a decibel meter. That's not true. Listen, a decibel meter is not a human being. Maybe for scientific purposes, that's a good thing. But in this case, it's really up to a person to say, well, that's acceptable or that's not. The decibel meter is not going to be able to tell you that. Anyway, as far as the overall experience here goes, even on this particular road, which is a pretty rough road, especially in other vehicles, here in the CR-V, very comfortable, very enjoyable, and the seats seem to be comfortable as well. Now, I have to be honest. I'm telling you that based on having not been in this vehicle for a long road trip, but I think that it would be fine. I haven't really adjusted the driver's seat a lot to get as comfortable as possible because, well, I'm not spending a lot of time in the CR-V today. But overall, it does seem that not only do you have the smooth ride with the suspension, but also comfortable seating. And obviously, this is not the top trim level. It is the base model for the Sport as far as not having a lot of options. So it's very base, very basic. In other words, you don't have a lot of features here. And so ultimately, there's a lot that you could add if you wanted to. Now, what about being able to see? Well, with blind spot monitoring, it really alleviates the concerns that anyone might have with a blind spot, which is really not that bad if you look over your right shoulder anyway. So ultimately, I have to give some pretty high marks here. Honda has done a great job with everything they've done here with the 2023 CR-V, but I'm curious to get your feedback. Tell me down in the comments, based on what you've seen, maybe in this video, maybe in other videos that I've done on other trim levels of the CR-V. I've done the Sport Touring and the EXL. What do you think Honda maybe should have done that they didn't do? Tell me down in the comments, and maybe tell Honda as well. You never know who's reading your comments on these videos. There's that blinker thing I was telling you about earlier, so that tells people around you what's going on. And a lot of you ask me if the turn signal indicators are built into the mirrors, so I assume that means you must use them, or you just like the way they look. I don't know. So tell me what you think down in the comments. Is the 2023 Honda CR-V the ultimate hybrid crossover? Tell me what your answer is and tell me why you answered the way that you did. Got to say a special thanks to my friends at Holmes Honda for loaning me this CR-V Sport for the day, and all of you for being kind enough to give me the opportunity to give you a vision for your next vehicle. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn about other vehicles you may wish to consider purchasing, check out the video that's on the screen right now, and I will see you there.